159. Trust verified. Recorded live Sunday, November, January 11th. Don't ask why. 2026, live from iTechGear Central.
Are you still in a turkey coma from the holidays? Is that what it is?
You never know. Right? As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, the editor-in-chief here at iTechGear.org. Those are the dulcet tones. That's the editor from iTechGear, former contributing editor at Gear Diary and the late great Pocket. Now that's Mr. Chris Gavula. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. My turkey coma is over, so I'm fine.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I hear you. I hear you.
But it is cold and it's been snowy on and off here, so
yeah.
I'm sure you have too.
Yeah, well, actually, we got nary a flake this weekend when we were supposed to get at least an inch. We got nary a flake, literally.
Well, that's because it landed here.
Oh, there you go. See, I like you, so there you may have it.
You may have it. Thank you.
You may have it. I don't want it. All right. We've also got the editor here at iTechGear.org and the former contributing writer at Gear Diary and currently the host of the Linux Link Tech Show, Living in the Retro Arcade podcast, and fitness for the rest of us. That's Brother Joe McLaughlin. How are you, sir?
I am just ducky.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Sounds like an old NCIS rerun. Ducky.
Ducky.
My goodness.
That's the editor here at iTechGear.org and the former co-owner of WUGNET Publications, Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. How are you, sir?
I'm worn out. This is digital cleanup time of the year.
Yeah.
You know that time when you make yet another New Year's resolution to keep all the crap out of your documents folder, clean it all out, and the year goes by and it's full again.
Well, I love my New Year's destitutions. So there you go. So didn't make any this year, glad to say. So given the way things have been going lately for us over here, it's probably a good thing too.
Don't disagree. I don't disagree.
No, and speaking of things going badly, Logitech had a bad week.
They did.
They did not. It was not a very, very good time because all of their Mac mice stopped working over somehow. Talk to me. But what happened?
Well, I mean, the short form is they forgot to have a certificate updated, their developer certificate updated. So their apps that are used to control their mice stopped working. So if your mouse had basic functions, it kept going just fine. But if you had special functions or programmed things, then it started those buttons would not act correct.
I had also heard that when the app stopped working, I had heard that folks had they lost. Not only did they lose button and app functionality, but the cursors looked different.
Because all of that was specialized. All of that was specialized within the Logitech app. Right. So anything that was modified by the Logitech app didn't work. If you had everything set to defaults, operating system defaults, you didn't have a problem.
Right.
So, I have a Logitech mouse. Larry, I think you have a Logitech mouse, right?
2 or 3, yeah.
And I've had no trouble with any of mine, but I don't do anything fancy.
I will give them big kudos.
I wanted to say that.
I got an email instantly from them, said, click here to do this and it'll fix it. I did, and it did.
And this article that we're linking to actually says that as well. Logitech was very quick to basically, they were very quick to fall on the sword and say, hey, we did this. Sorry, we screwed this up. And they put out fixes for their apps very quickly.
Actually, they were quick to say that they didn't do what they were supposed to.
Well, but they were very honest about their mistake.
And you've got to give them kudos for that.
Yep. I do. And they fixed it quickly too. They put out fixes for it very, very quickly. So
some people we know would have said, we'll put it in our next update.
We can't imagine where that would come from.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later.
We will.
Time and again, we'll get to it later.
Time and again.
You know what? You know when we'll get to it? We'll get to it in our next update.
Yeah. Thank
you. There
you go. You know what else I heard this week that I thought was actually kind of interesting? All right. The iPhone Fold, the rumored and much anticipated iPhone Fold may actually end up being more like a folding iPad than it is like a folding iPhone. Is that true, Larry?
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure this will excite a lot of people, and I'm glad it's out in the open now, so I don't have to spend the next 8 months salivating over a foldable
Maybe.
iPhone that I might not want. So I'm sorry, I am not a fan of phablets. I don't give a damn what anybody says. If this is what they think it is a phablet. Period. Done. I rest my case.
Well, I've heard a lot of people saying, it may be more like an iPad, but I've heard a lot of people say that it for those that have seen or have held or have owned a Microsoft Surface Duo, which is an
Duo.
Android phone,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It'll be wide like that was wide.
Or
And-
the original Pixel Fold.
Right.
Right.
It'll be wide like that was wide. And
Well, one thing the
People look at
article says clearly is it's going to look a lot different than its competition in Samsung and Google, which represent or look more like a real phone when they're folded. And I mean, I've been a long time fan of Stephen Hackett over at 512 Pixels. I also know Jason Snell. And these
Right.
two guys they're hardcore Mac people. They don't put out BS. So I'm going to
Sure.
kind of
Correct.
believe them here. And I do like the thing that Jason Snell said. He said, "Will this be a phone you can open, or will it be an iPad you can close?" Think about that.
That's a very good question and a very, very interesting kind of analogy. You know,
Yeah.
Is this more like an iPad mini that you can close? All right. Or is this going to be more like an iPhone that you can unfold?
My only
Right.
concern, if it's not when it's folded, if it's not somewhat in the form of a phone, it's not a phone anymore. It
Yeah.
won't
I
go in
think as
my
long as
pocket.
although if it has an outside screen, who
No, I
cares?
meant form factor, just the form factor.
Right.
Okay, just the form
If
factor.
it's
So,
if it's a 5-inch square thing,
and here's
I
what
don't
I'm
want
saying
it.
is what I'm saying is we've gotten to the point where we have flip phones that have these tiny outside screens.
Yeah.
Who cares if this is different? Who cares as long as it can function? Who cares
Right.
what the outside shape is?
See,
Because
I don't think it
it's got to
matters.
go in your pocket, Chris. Come on.
see, well, there is that. It does.
If
And
I
that was
can't
one of the
carry it, it's not a phone.
right. One of the biggest problems that I had.
Yeah, I think the problem is what Larry. We're not talking about size though. We're not necessarily talking about an 8-inch iPad Mini folded in half. I think that's the picture you're getting, and I think all of this definition means is that it's going to be wider rather
than
than
it is
taller.
taller.
Oh,
It's
I
not
get
saying
that.
that
I
it's
get
not
that.
saying, but so it may well be small enough to fit in your pocket just
And
fine.
if it is,
You know,
then it's a phone. I'm fine.
we just
Right.
don't know at this point. That's what I'm
Right.
getting at. We don't
Right.
know.
Right. So
Right.
and this foldable device may actually come out with an iPad branding as opposed to
And
depending on how they actually want
Yeah.
to go ahead and,
And
push
I
this.
wouldn't be surprised if it does come out and it is wider rather than taller and all that stuff happens. I would not be surprised if the inside operated with some flavor of iPad OS rather than traditional iOS because you need the multitasking and the windowing and whatever to work.
So folded iOS, unfolded iPad OS.
Maybe, or some hybrid of the two that allows it to behave differently when the big screen is open as opposed to just the little
Right.
screen.
one of
Whatever it is going to have to be very compelling to get people to
Absolutely
spend
true.
$2,000 on it.
And as we've said, and as we've been saying all along, we don't know for sure what this thing is going to look like until we see Skinny Timmy on stage talking and telling
correct.
us.
Now I'm holding in my
or
hand.
it's relief, one of the two.
Right, I'm holding in my
Right.
hand the original Surface Duo, and this thing is in fact, I want to say it is taller than it is wider, but it is
But
wider than the
but here's the same
standard.
thing.
It is
Here's the
wider
same thing
than
with
the
the pictures.
standard phone. And the biggest problem that I
Yeah.
had two problems with this device. One, since it is probably about 1.5 times the width of your standard cell phone. All right. It makes it very, very, I don't want to say difficult, but it is more
Well, it
difficult
also
to
didn't have
hold
an out,
on to and use as an actual phone as opposed to a
but it
tab.
also didn't have an outside screen. The
Well,
Duo did not.
Yes.
So
if you
here's
wanted,
the fix. here's the Pixel Fold, the first version,
Right.
which is also wider than taller.
Right.
However, it is more manageable and it certainly fits in a pocket.
Oh,
but it's
that's
wider than tall when you
fine.
open it.
Right.
And so,
I've held
so the
that.
point
That
the point I'm getting at is when they say it's going to be, more book-like. Well, we don't know what that means yet. We don't know what that looks like.
Correct.
It could look like this. It could look like the Surface Duo, or it could look like an iPad Mini folded in half. We just don't know.
Right. The two problems again that I had with the Surface Duo though is that A, it was wider than your standard cell phone. And B, and this is unique to this particular device because it did not have an outside screen. You had to fold it 180 degrees in order to have that phone screen on the outside. Then it also bothered me because the other side, one side is screen, the other side is screen when it's folded 180 degrees that way, and you risk damaging one side, right?
That was true, but what you didn't have on the Duo was the soft plastic screens that you get on current foldables because they're two separate screens on the Duo. They were much more durable. The other thing is you're dealing with lips and edges on the Duo that you don't necessarily have to deal with anymore. So this device could be thinner and still have as big a screen.
Right. So the original Surface Duo is circa 2020, circa 2021. All right. And I believe the Duo came out in either late 22 or third quarter, late third quarter or early fourth quarter 2022. I think.
I thought it was earlier in the pandemic. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, because
that's halfway through it.
Well, the original, yes, it was about halfway through. It was about a year and a half in that it came out. But
the original came out in the fall of 2019.
Right.
Is when the first one came out.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
I thought it came out in 21. Anyway,
the two came out in fall of 2021.
Okay. All right. Well then, then what I did was I bought the original when the price dropped then.
Yeah, me too. You and me both.
Yeah. So, but still, that design with the screens on the inside and the 180 degree.
I would agree. That's a clumsy format.
It was good and bad.
But it's great for e-reading though, and I love the dual screens being separate like that. There was some durability there and a nice. There was a lot of different behavior there that I really liked.
Correct. But this is going to be interesting. The iPhone Fold is going to be interesting because it is supposed to have the screen on the outside, as well as the
theoretically
screen. And this is going to be what 7-ish inches when unfolded.
Something like a 7
and change, isn't it? 7 and change.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So so it's not quite the size of the iPad Mini, right? But damn close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can definitely see,
But I think it'll have to have an iPad OS kind of flavor to it. And the reason I say is because otherwise, how are you going to handle the? Well, the reason is iOS didn't. It assumed that the app was the size and the shape of the phone.
Right.
The iPad OS did not. It assumed that the app could be in any shape because it had the flexible.
Now it did.
And what I'm getting at is if they're going to make that inside a foldable, they're probably going to make it closer to iPad OS on the inside. Maybe they'll call it Fold OS. I don't know. Maybe
who knows? But you would think that it would have to either run both operating systems or some level of hybrid in between the two.
That's my thinking.
Depending on how you're folded and the booting up of the interior screen OS, if you will, if that is in fact what happens, is going to have to be instantaneous. It's going to have to be.
I don't think it'll be a booting issue. I think that what they'll do is do some kind of hybrid because you also have to be able to move an app from the outside screen to the inside screen and back forth. So they can't be separate, but like that.
No, but it's going to have to be almost instantaneous. But you can't support. You can't support
all the windowing on that iPhone screen either. It doesn't really have the real estate to work with.
Right. The resizable windows, you're not going to be able to do on the exterior screen. It's all got to be for the interior.
I would think.
Screen.
So we'll see what they do. Apple is very good at coming up with these clever solutions, and it'll be interesting to see what they do.
That said, they came up with a clever solution with their latest little iPhone that didn't work. So they are capable of mistakes. And I
They
still
Absolutely
they
think,
are.
are.
They
I
are.
would say if they screw this up and the fold doesn't sell, there's going to be a couple companies named Google and Samsung running and laughing all the way to the bank because a bunch
They
of people
may.
are going to change. They will.
They may, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it was something that they did for 2 to 3 years in ever decreasing amounts of production numbers, and then just quietly put it to bed if it didn't sell.
When he walks onto
Right.
that stage, he absolutely has to wow the world or it's not going to work.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, and speaking of wowing the world, most of CES isn't what it used to be.
Oh
It
man,
really, really isn't.
I wish it was, but
It
it's not.
stopped be CES stopped being CES probably in the 2000s, right? Somewhere in the neighborhood of around 20 or so years
Right.
ago. All right. But something did I that caught it something came out that caught my eye. And I wanted to go ahead and just bring this up in this particular discussion because I thought it was a very interesting solution. Even though Apple is said to be in the process of coming up with their own touchscreen native MacBook, um,
Mm.
uh, intricate, and it's the way that they spell this company's name is really weird, but Intricate has come out with a or is coming out with a product called Magic Screen that sits in front. It's basically a digitizer, a portable digitizer that you can sit in front of your MacBook screen that you um, plug this little C-shaped USB-C cable into. You plug it into the base of the thing, which sits in front of your actual screen, right on top of, and then probably fits into the first um, a USB C or Thunderbolt port on the left side of your MacBook, um, and provides touchscreen as well as pen support for your MacBook. So
The
depending
Pro
on
only
the
or the
processor
MacBook Air
requirements,
also?
say again.
For all MacBooks or just the Pro?
This is where I was going. So depending on the processor requirements for your Mac, all right, or for this particular product, I mean, it's going to add uh, um, touchscreen support and pen support for just about potentially any existing or compatible MacBook, right? Um, the Magic Screen is initially going to be offered via Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign with a price starting from $139, and shipments are expected to start sometime in the first quarter of this year. And I would expect it to be probably late first quarter of this year, so sometime probably in March. But interesting. I mean, it's very, very interesting. I mean, it's going to compete directly with the Wacom 113 Touch, or using Sidecar with an iPad, right? Um, um, and but it's supposed to sell. I mean, if it truly is going to start at 139, I mean, that's a real easy upgrade to add touch to your MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. You know.
How good do you think the clarity is on the display itself? Because you're talking about overlaying one of the most beautiful screens in computing, the Retina.
True, true. You are talking about
If it
putting
distorts it in the
something.
least way,
I mean, obviously, it's going to be transparent. Otherwise, it's completely useless.
well,
Number
yeah,
one. All right, but how transparent is transparent?
I don't know.
And I think that's your point. How transparent is transparent? But um it's really, really interesting. I mean, the digitizer on this is supposed to be so sensitive that when you use the pen that comes with this thing, it's supposed to support hover. All right, with the pen. Um,
Wow.
so it's uh very, very interesting. I mean, and as it's something that is portable, you can either take it with you or not, depending on what you're supposed to be doing whenever it is that you're going to be out and about. So you have an option in it, and it is at $140. It's a real easy upgrade.
Yeah, different.
It is different, and I just thought that was an interesting, because this is something that I think a lot of people say, why isn't there something, that I can just either snap on or I can lay in front of? Why why does it have to be a native touch screen?
I get why people like that. I never did. I mean, my last Windows machine I had for 3 years, I never ever touched the screen. Just me.
I've used Surface since probably 2011, 2012.
Totally different device. So,
Totally
yeah.
different device, but even
I did
then,
touch my Surface. I'm
but
talking about my
even
Windows machine.
then, how seriously? I mean, if you're either got a multi-monitor situation or you've got an external keyboard or even just an external mouse and you're using the included keyboard, um, how do you find yourself? I mean, even with Surface, or even the Surface
Yeah.
laptops? So Larry, you bought a couple of these
Yeah.
for the place that you're working at. You bought a couple of these recently. How often are those folks actually taking their hands off the keyboard, not putting them on the mouse and touching the screen?
I was sitting there watching one of them using their new one the other day, just not intentionally, never ever did it. Was
This is what I'm
always on the
saying,
keyboard. Always.
So I mean, if it's something that you want to be able to do, and I can understand,
I would use maybe the
gestures.
pen more than I would my
Sure,
finger because
Right.
sure,
everything I do is with text.
right.
And you
And
can't
easy
finger
to support a
text.
mouse that way. Why take your
Right.
finger off why take your hand off and put it on the screen when you can just easily put it on a mouse?
I will say that I will occasionally attempt to touch the screen on my MacBook, but it's
Mm-hmm.
almost always after I just came off of using the iPad.
iPad, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
And so my brain says, "Oh, start the app."
yeah.
Tap the screen.
Touch, yeah.
And it's but as far as
Yeah.
like Larry said, when you're doing a lot of like text editing, I absolutely don't like the touch screens for that. I mean, I prefer to have a mouse. Even on my iPad, I pull out my mouse
Right.
and use a mouse when I'm trying to do a lot of text editing.
Right. When I'm doing some graphic work, having a touch screen sometimes is nice, so I can just go in there and what is that, and do I want that, and can I clarify that a little bit? Can I blow that up?
I do like
you know.
I do like pinch zooming kind of things. I wouldn't mind having touch for that kind of thing. Yes, you can do it on the trackpad. It's
I
not
was just
exactly
going to
the
say
same,
you've got that on your trackpad though.
but it's different on a Mac trackpad than it is on a Windows trackpad.
It is,
Yeah,
it's
and
true.
it doesn't feel as native. It just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I agreed.
So, but again, if for $139, it's something that you could probably go and an impulse
Well,
buy, and it won't be too horrible.
that's the early access Kickstarter
Yeah.
price. It'll go up once it's available.
More than likely, yes. More than likely, yes.
True.
We'll see what happens, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing. I mean, it's starting at $139 for that price. It's not a bad add-on or a bad upgrade.
No,
So, but
interesting.
yeah,
There you go.
getting early access. I mean, to this thing, and I'd love to be able to see, what because it looks really very, very interesting. And if
But
you,
yeah,
you know,
I'd
and
agree. There's some limitations as to you have to order which size you need for which computer model you have, and obviously that means you're not going to take it with you to the next one if the next one's different at all. But
if
True.
it is a
okay,
different screen size, yes.
but okay, it's fair enough.
You know,
It doesn't work on the M1 MacBook Air. It's not in their list.
does will it work on like an M1 Pro or an M1 Max?
I believe the answer was yes. There's a list on their website. There's a click list of compatible Macs
Mm-hmm.
that it works on, and you can take a look at that list. It's a pretty good sized list, but some of the even the M series ones are not.
See, this is
in
where
that
I
list.
thought it would probably
And this is at launch. They may expand this list. So
true.
this is just what's coming out at launch. So they're basically saying they're going to support the 13-inch MacBook Air, the M3, M2, and M4, the
Okay.
15-inch M3, M2, and M4. Well, saying them all out of order. I apologize, guys. The 2 3s and 4s for both the 13 and 15-inch size on the Airs. On the Pros, and again, generically, the Pros are going to all be the same. A Pro, Pro Max, they're not going to be any different. They're physically in the same chassis, so that wouldn't change. So they're saying 14 and 16-inch Pros. The 14-inch Pro is well, they're all basically M1s through M4s on the Pros. It
Okay.
just looks like the M1 Air is the only one that's
M1
and
Air is
anything
the only one that's left out. Okay.
and anything before the M series, it looks like
Okay.
is left out.
Okay. So
Mhm.
that's very
That's
interesting.
fair, but that's fair.
And
You know, I get it. You have to have a certain amount of horsepower to drive this thing. I
right.
get it.
So right. And there may be a little bit of glare. There may be some
Sure.
some clarity issues, but they say, all right, that Magic Screen is supposed to maintain greater than 99% transparency, so your display stays sharp and vibrant. So
We're gonna see.
we're gonna see. All right. And no, you cannot close the computer with the screen attached.
Of course not. Yet it makes perfect sense.
Well, there's a
Sure.
big bar that sits in the crease, right? In
Of
the
course.
fold, right?
Yeah, I
So,
see it snaps in there. Yeah.
right, it snaps in there. But the issue though is that air that bar that runs across the crease of the machine is where all the smarts are. That's all the electronics are in it. All right. So all the smarts are there. So they got to be
Well, there's not any room between the display and the keyboard or the chassis of a MacBook. I
no,
mean,
very,
there's
very,
two little
very little.
thin, about the size of a playing card
Right. Right.
with
Very, very little, but it does come with a folio case. It does come with a stylus and a small USB-C cable and a
Yeah.
polishing cloth. So
hey, somebody will buy it.
sure, somebody's going to go ahead and chase after this. Don't know that it's going to be you. Don't know that it's going to be me. But this is something that is. I think a lot of folks have been wondering, hey, why hasn't something like this ever been created? Well, here you go. You
Right.
know, and we're going to go
And
ahead.
nobody said that about the next one.
Right.
Ever.
Uh,
Ever.
right, but I'm going ahead and I'm putting in Magic Screen's
Their website.
native website, so there'll be a direct link in the
Awesome.
in the show notes for everybody if you're curious about it.
But
But
now we're going to talk about the thing that nobody wanted ever.
nobody ever
Right.
wanted Joel. You don't. I mean, you don't need your iPhone to have a personality, do you?
Absolutely not.
All right, so what the heck is going on? Why do you want to? Why does this thing need a personality? And this, honest to God, I've got my own take on this. But go talk to me about what the hell
This
is this?
typifies how crap CES is now. CES, because this came out CES 2026, the DeskMate MagSafe charger gives your iPhone an AI personality. So, Key Tech, the company behind the Luna companion robot and ClickBot modular robot, is showing off a new take on AI assistants at CES 2026 called DeskMate, which is exclusively for the iPhone. You plop this thing on your iPhone onto a MagSafe charger, and then of course it gets eyeballs.
So right. So the moment that so you install this app on your iPhone, you take your
Right.
phone and you put it on this MagSafe stand horizontally, and then all of a sudden, your phone's got eyeballs and
An AI companion. Yeah.
right, and an
Yes.
AI companion that and effectively words that stream across the bottom or appear across the bottom that appear to be some level of mouth. All right, or look like a mouth, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks kind of creepy to me, but okay.
Well, and it's also a USB-C hubs because there's four spaces. Well, it's got I'm sorry, it's a USB hub. Got USB-A as well as USB-C ports on it. So
But it is functional with all of its reminders and all of that crap.
you would, yeah, and there's, it's got reminders and it's got notifications and
Kind of makes it look a little bit like an iMac G4.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
A
it?
little bit.
a little bit, a little bit. You know what? Really, this thing reminds me of. You remember, like maybe between 2018 and 2020, there was this little robot that scooted across your desk. That
Hmm.
was a it wasn't an iPhone, wasn't any kind of but it was just a proprietary robot that you could interact with, right?
Or
And this was
Amazon's robot thing.
yeah, well, Amazon had one like it, but this was something that was completely different. It was Amazon may have picked it up, but it started out independently, and it was this little cute little thing that had a lot of personality, and it ran around your desk and annoyed you while you were trying to be productive. And then
Right.
another company came out with something called Louie, Looi,
Remember
that
that one.
but basically, again, like this, like the one um, uh, from Key Tech, you installed an app on and you stuck it on this thing, and it runs around your desk, or a tabletop surface wherever you're computing, and effectively does the same thing. It'll charge your phone, and it will, allow you to interact with it. It uses the phone's camera and blah 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 to see you and do things and whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
my favorite comment in the story says, "If I want something useless on my desk, I'll put my iPhone on my MagSafe stand and ask for Siri and save $300."
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
three.
I personally I use that every night. I love the nightstand feature for an
Yeah,
alarm
mine
clock, but that's
mine
what I
mine turns
use it for.
off. Mine turns off though in the middle of the night. I wake
Never.
up and
I've
I look
never had
over,
it do it.
and for whatever reason, and I don't understand why, and it's set
Wow.
to never turn off, but I wake up in the middle of the night
Well,
and
it does turn off, but then when you wave your hand or it's motion sensitive, it'll turn right back on
well, it's I know that it's supposed to, mine turns it goes from, white
to
white
red
to
To red.
red, right?
Mhm.
But the
then to
red turns off
off.
and it's not supposed to turn off. I've got it set so it's not supposed to turn off. But yet
Oh, I don't
But
know.
yet,
Mm.
you go ahead, you wave your hand or you tap the
You don't
screen and it doesn't
you
come
don't have
back.
any DND mode or anything getting in your way, do you? Right.
Not at
Just
that time. Not at
okay.
that
No.
time. Um, but what bothers me about that whole thing, it great, love it. And I rely on it because it gets me up in the morning, and it also,
It
like I said, it's supposed to be in like a desk clock,
Right.
and in the middle of the night it just stops working.
it also has to be plugged in.
But it is plugged in.
But if you had a short circuit in the cable or something like that,
It's sitting on top of a MagSafe charger.
gotcha.
All right.
But what I'm saying is it could be the charger stopping.
Ah,
Yeah, but then when you go ahead and I'll wake up enough that I will look at this thing, it's
Especially if it's a
gone.
third
I'll
party.
pull it off the MagSafe charger, wait about 5 seconds,
Uh-huh.
stick it back on, doesn't come back on.
Hmm.
But again, maybe it didn't drop enough to do that. But what I'm getting at is that the MagSafe charger doesn't kick on. If it's a third party MagSafe charger, it may be kicking
Right.
off the power to
mine's
protect
on a
itself.
Belkin. I don't know. It
No,
works fine.
Yeah,
I don't
mine's plugged
understand why
in, so
it's
I don't
doing
have
what
any
it's
problem.
doing, but it it
Right.
it it blows my mind and it bothers me
What
that
I would
that
say one night when you even if you leave it up on that charger to hold it, plug it in.
what is
Plug it in
plugged
the
in.
USB. No.
Oh,
Plug in the
plug the phone
USB-C
in.
port
Plug the
and
phone
see
in.
if it's the same thing. See if the same thing happens.
Okay.
Because if it does, then there's something
Then
going on with the OS.
right, then
If
there's
there's
something
not,
going on.
then there's something going on with that particular charger. Shuts itself off or does whatever it does.
Sure.
So try that. Try
I
that.
will. I will.
It's a
So
thing.
right. So anyway, so this again came out from CES and
Gotcha.
or what was Joe calling it? CE meh, and you were calling it CE schmeh.
Smeh. Smeh.
Smeh. Uh, so yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, it could be
Anyway,
worse. I've heard people actually refer to it as CE sucks. So I
Yeah.
didn't call it that. I didn't call it that. So,
No, that's
I mean,
true.
I don't think it sucked. I mean, there's some interesting stuff there, but it's like boring. It's like,
I mean, back in the day, Chris will tell you that was the deal. I mean,
Oh,
God, they
Oh,
would
yeah.
line up
it
for
was the shizzle.
miles.
It was the shizzle. Everybody who was anybody, was at this thing, and all of the big product introductions. If it was meant to make an impact that year, it was in that
It
show.
better be there or it won't make an impact.
Right.
Not
If it
now.
wasn't in that show, regardless of when it was supposed to actually hit the market and be purchasable by consumers, there was some level of presence from that company with that product. Now,
So
nobody. I mean, it's a total snooze fest.
So the best we can say here is we got a basic charging base that has a piece of software that makes a stupid thing look like it has a personality, and we're going to charge you $300 for it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everybody will buy
That's
it.
super. That's super.
Yes. So next, and
So
you know
much
what's
reason to
next?
go.
You know what's next? Our mobile
What's next?
Our mobile Linux segment. So we're going to go ahead and move to that. And this first one I thought was very, very interesting, and it's been making somewhat of a impact during the week. There are a number of U.S. senators that are calling for both Grok and X, or Twitter, formerly called Twitter, now called X, to be removed from both the Apple and Google app stores. And it all has to do with the ability to take any person's likeness, whether it's a celebrity or whether it's your image, your wife's image, your daughter, son, regardless of their age, image, and it will make inappropriate images from that source image. It'll show them naked. It'll show them in inappropriate acts. It'll even go ahead and create child porn, which is a huge no-no.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that are actually getting, more than their dander up over this. Not only is it doing porn or inappropriate images, but it's also being used to depict mostly women being sexually abused, humiliated, hurt, or even killed. And we're getting both AI-based video as well as images off of this. And it's also been indicated that researchers are saying that, Grok, in the Grok archive of nearly 100 images of potential child sex abuse materials generated since August, which kids, it's a personal way to describe this, but not only is that disgusting, but it's abhorrent.
And what's worse than that to me is that Musk's response was to laugh.
He said, "We'll put it behind." Actually, his response was said, "Well, we'll put it behind a paywall."
But he laughed at it first. He said it was funny.
It's not funny. It's
But
not
he
funny.
said that was his reaction, and then he put it behind a paywall, but he didn't get rid of it.
Well,
no, they did not get rid of it.
The important thing here, whether it's Grok or any
other service,
they all can do these things. Okay, so all it's pointing out is that humanity has an issue, and it's not the fact that these tools can do that. So banning the tool, which is what this article is suggesting with X and Grok, is not the answer to this. Okay, in my opinion, because there are valid reasons.
For the root cause, you're correct. You're right. The root cause is human depravity.
But if the owner of the product says, "I'm not going to get rid of that feature or block that feature or control that feature in any way," then the answer is to get rid of the product.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, and the important thing to realize here is, as with any AI thing, trust but verify.
Absolutely.
You see an image that is too good to be true, like for example, a picture of Chuck Schumer in a bikini, which I've seen.
I'm sorry.
Which
unfortunately you're never going to be able to unsee. So
no. I mean, but it's important to notice that these images aren't real. Okay. Now, granted, that doesn't make them any less disgusting. It doesn't make them any less wrong.
Right.
All
It
right.
doesn't make them any less inappropriate, but
But realize that people need to get some smarts about AI anything. You
well,
know,
number one, I truly believe, depending on how things go, it may be determined to be a requirement, although it's not currently.
Right.
But maybe, for things that are created with AI, especially video and or images, we may need some level of either metadata attached to it that cannot be removed, or some level of watermark on the image. It says this image was generated with, and then tool name.
And that's with the
Well-
cloud available AIs. You can download any AI model you want and do this without the need for a cloud connection.
But most of them actually have restrictions on this now.
Yeah.
Right now, most of them do.
Not the models.
So
not the models.
not the models, but the models aren't what you're using directly most of the time. But what I'm getting at is you're going to have to do something. You're either going to have to start putting age restriction on it. That's one possibility. You're going to have, but on the other side of the equation, you've got to be careful because you're making images of people in a non-consensual way.
Right.
You have to get permissions or copyrights or whatever it is you need to do before you do that. If you're going to post it publicly or make that ability to create that, even though it's a fake image, you still can't use somebody else's likeness
without their written consent,
without their
or
consent.
permission.
And so all of these are things. But Joel's right; these are all social issues that we have to resolve. But until we do that, we may have to block the tools until we have the ability
And it's
to
only
resolve
cloud.
those.
Right, and the thing is, though, is it's only ever will be cloud-hosted instances. If you
True.
want to download that model and do it on your own, hey,
That's
you
a
can
different
do it.
animal.
That's a different
That's a
animal
different animal.
entirely.
Different animal.
That's a different animal entirely. But I
because
still
you're not-
believe
Unbannable.
Right.
It's unbannable on that part. Those
it's
ones are
it may be
unbannable.
unbannable, but I think that if you're able
Right.
to go ahead and download, I still think that there should be some level of watermark on those videos or on those images.
Right.
If it, or some level of undeletable metadata. All right.
But
either-
that only partially solves it. That doesn't fix the whole.
No, but the whole
Right.
idea is I want to be able to go ahead and let people know that this is in fact fake. All right.
Yes.
It's not real. Some sick
I don't know. I agree
sick
with
puppy
you.
created that.
I agree with you, but I don't think whether it's real or fake is the bigger problem. I think that's the smaller problem. I think the bigger problem is
I
that-
understand what you're saying, and you're right.
So,
You're right. All
so
right. They shouldn't be able to create it in the first place. I agree with you.
well,
all right. But
in a pseudo public way, they shouldn't be able. You're right. That's where it gets to be. We have to decide what those rules are. We haven't really decided what those rules ought to be.
right.
But we can say what the rules are from other media, other
This
forms
is
of media,
this
and apply those.
true.
And that's what we're not doing.
Right.
We're not doing that yet.
Right. But this is an easy fix, and just to say, you know what? Until human beings aren't, as a race, all right, as a species, have got this breeded out of them, remove this
That's not going to happen.
remove this ability.
Right.
Or at least
it's
remove
not
the
a-
ability. I don't think the app should be removed. I do think the ability should be blocked.
but I believe
somehow, though.
that,
No.
and it should, and anybody that is, it may also be a good idea to go ahead and have that person, create a such and such image of Chris Spera doing blah blah blah, and if that comes back,
You'll frighten us all. Thank you very much.
right. But the whole idea is, okay, fine, Chris, I'm going to pick on you, but no offense, all
Go
right.
for it.
All right. Chris Gavula was the one that submitted that request. Well, now Chris has got one strike against him on his account, and any
there you
more anytime else that happens, well, then you can never get your account is now closed, it's gone, and you can never get it back on that tool again.
And I think what's important is this tool, as it's being the way the block is being presented right now is based on porn, child porn, non-consensual images. But the
Right.
reality is, this could be used to apply to show. Now I've made a picture of Chris Spera robbing a bank.
Right.
Did he really
Right.
do that? No. Then
Right.
I put it up as a news story. By the time it gets out there and
Too
gets
late.
retracted, The damage is
The
already
damage
done.
is done because my reputation is now hosed. Right.
So
it's now ruined.
all these things, we have to figure out how to apply all these
Right.
things
Right.
better.
So
Right.
In our digital era.
And to be honest, this is an easy fix. It truly is. This is
to patch it. Yeah,
fix.
stopping it for now is. I agree.
You know, removing this ability is an easy fix, and it's something that I think needs to happen. But that's just.
But you know what? This isn't the only thing we're talking about banning.
No. This is not the only government interaction story that we've got this week.
Yeah.
You know, and the government, the United States government, has just followed through on its ban of drones. It's more than just DJI.
By the way, folks, that's the happy sound that Joel makes.
Yes. Don't make him angry.
Yes.
You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Joel, what's going on here?
So, okay, what's important to note here is it's not just DJI. It is DJI, Autel, any component manufacturer. So if, for example, they make a control board to build your own drone, where is this made in? If it's made in China, it's probably new.
Right.
All right.
And
then
I
it's
think,
likely
Joel, I
not.
think it's even worse, right? It's not just
Oh,
things
it
made
is.
in China. It's anything made outside the U.S. It seemed like.
Well,
in short, according to the Popular Mechanics,
any new stuff,
according to the Popular Mechanics article that we are citing in the show notes,
right?
Whatever existing drone models are already sold on the U.S. market. All right,
they're okay.
All right,
okay.
Those are fine, but anything new coming in, no, or wanting to come in, the answer is no.
The problem is,
can they resell the old stuff? Can you keep selling?
Yes, you can. But herein comes part of the problem here. Okay, so for example, here I have got the original Mavic Pro, and I have the the Mini 3. Okay, the Mini 3 is still somewhat current. I can probably still go buy it today, and I can still probably buy replacement batteries and stuff like that. My Mavic Pro, not so much. Yeah. Not so much. Not to mention, in fact, the Mavic Pro itself doesn't have the remote ID, which is for that device not a requirement, but for all the other devices, anything relatively recent, like my Mini 3 has it, that is the system that basically reports your ID back to the FAA.
Right.
Okay? And the primary reason, the thing here is not FAA here, it's actually FCC. The primary thing they're concerned with is the ties that these companies have back to communist China, and that they're afraid that their systems that they rely on, like, for example, the DJI drones rely on DJI servers in the back end and can report back home to those servers in China. So they're worried about that, and the thing that's really disturbing here is the government's not even going through to take the time to look at what DJI is. DJI is trying to comply with them 100%. This is a huge market for them, and
the United States market, yes,
yes,
absolutely.
And the thing is this is going to have a detrimental not just to hobbyists like myself, but there are companies that have sprung up that fly these drones for real estate, for construction,
for insurance.
Everything.
All
for
of the
insurance
pictures
purposes
when we
to
sold our
inspect your
house,
roof.
the guy had a drone. It was a really good one. I mean,
Yeah.
And most of them are probably made by DJI.
Yep.
With a fair amount of the other ones thrown in there. And like I said, if you have an older one, my older ones will still fly, but at a certain point, I'm going to need a replacement battery for my Mavic Pro. In fact, I've already replaced the ones that I've had. Same thing.
And it's not like you can go and buy a battery and store it for years down the road, because that battery is going to degrade.
And even worse here too, most of these DJI and a lot of the drone batteries have smarts in the batteries, so it's not like that they actually use a standard off-the-shelf battery that I can just go to Batteries Plus and buy a replacement of.
Right.
So over time, the parts are going to start to become unavailable, and the older drones aren't going to be able to fly, and we're not going to have an option to replace them with.
Right. The problem the problem here is twofold. One, there's the ban, the actual ban, and two, there is nothing that is American made that comes close to or is
Or
anywhere
DJI or
near
any of the others do.
comparable, right, to the imported category leaders, right?
Yes. Not and it even goes
So,
further than that. For
well,
example, if you want to buy a DJI gimbal, a newer DJI gimbal, one that isn't certified yet, that is not allowed either. Or the pocket cams. So it's more than just the drones. It's anything that uses that kind of technology that DJI uses.
So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. So this is sort of akin to, let's call the drone, the DJI drone, a Toyota. This is like the
Right.
government saying, okay, you can buy a new Toyota in the future as long as the model year isn't 2025 or newer.
right,
Right.
No, as long as they already made it.
right,
That's
As long
what I
as
mean,
as long as
2025 or
it's already
older.
been certified for sale in the United States.
right. Right. And but they are saying that, so what's the upside? Great. What's the upside to all of this?
There's
If you're
none.
in the market, if you're in the market for one, buy it now. All right. It's the same as
That's
as
exactly
what we were
right.
telling everybody back in October or so of last
Even
year.
those
Well,
prices are going to go
and
up.
Right.
again,
But
as
buy it
Joel
now.
pointed out, this is not just DJI. This is every
Everybody.
foreign-made
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
Parts, otherwise, it's all of them. You
Right.
can't do them.
Right.
And there is a commercial market here that makes
Mhm.
that makes drones here in the U.S.
Right. But there's nothing that we've got
but nothing in the
here.
consumer space. Nothing in the consumer space.
Well,
So my question is, will they backtrack and come down into the consumer space? Don't know. Don't know what they're going to do.
Well,
It's not that there's no
that's the other thing
capability.
of that too, though, Chris, is even the folks who do make drones here, which there aren't very many that do.
There are not very many. That's true.
right. No.
Where do their components come from? They come
Well,
from
that's a fair
China.
question. But if those components were already authorized, then they're okay.
Right. As
Correct.
long as they were already made and
So what it's going to stop us from is newer technologies. That's what
It's
it's
going to
block us
stop
from.
innovation here. Now, now how DJI can work around this? For example, the Mini 4 Pro is currently certified. I can currently buy them on Amazon.com for $10.99 for the Fly More combo. The Fly More combo plus is $11.59 or $11.59, and the Mini 3, which is the one I already have, with the DJI RC, which is the one with the screen on it, is only $575. Actually, that's a good price. That's worth it.
But you know what the sad thing is? Again, they didn't do their research here at all. They decided not to do their research and blame them. But what that doesn't answer the question is the ones that are out there, the ones that are already authorized. You never resolve the question about whether you have the original problem. Are they in collusion with the Chinese government? Are they sending data back? It doesn't matter. But the point is, you never answered the original concern ever.
No,
These
you
things
just
are
went
still
ahead
out
and
there.
said y'all aren't allowed to be here.
Anything new, but we didn't do that with the
Anything
existing
new.
stuff that's out there. So we didn't do anything to check any of that. So we
So
still
current
haven't done any.
models
So basically,
are,
we've
like-
accomplished nothing.
Right. And the
Right,
Mini
'cause-
5, which will come out eventually, it's not out yet, but the Mini 5 will not be available here in the United States.
Right.
The Mini 4 is. And how DJI will probably end up working around this is continuing to make the Mini 4 until they can't make it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right. There are, and I'm including this link, as to the main article that we're talking about, as well as this next
Sure.
article, this next link. Again, also by Popular Mechanics, they've done a review on which are the best drones that are still available to purchase. All right, but they're made by 3 companies: DJI, Potensic, and Hover. All right. The issue here, though, I mean, you can go ahead and purchase these models from these folks because they've already been assembled and they're already available in the U.S.
They're already certified.
They're already certified as and approved for use in the U.S. But the problem here is you're not going to get any new technology. You're not going to get any better better drones or improved drones because nothing here in the U.S. is better than what's already available and out there. So the biggest problem here is that we don't have anything that can compare. We don't have anything that is uh, comparable or competitive with this. And the way things are going here in the States, we likely won't ever.
Well, unless the commercial people are able to step down somehow. I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe
know.
not.
It could be the side effect is to force innovation domestically. It could be that won't. Don't know at this point.
Don't know.
But I'm gonna guess it won't, but it could.
It could, but my guess is that it probably won't.
No.
Me too. I agree with you.
Which
I
is
do.
depressing and somewhat,
Well, and we already did this with phones, number of phone manufacturers and companies.
Sure.
Now we're doing it with these. What else?
What's
now,
next?
What else
what's
are we
next
going to
in the
go
road?
ahead and
Right.
because there are no phone manufacturers in the US, even the ones
No.
that are quote unquote a US brand, like
the iPhone,
like
they're all
the
made.
iPhone, like the iPhone, or even Motorola or whatever. They're all made. Everything is made overseas.
Well, except that's less and less. It is overseas, but less and less in China. They're more and more moving things to other places like Vietnam or India or whatnot.
They know they have to.
They have to.
But they have to keep the manufacturing low, the labor costs low, because here the labor costs are very high. So I get the challenge. But Chris, do we have anything happier to talk about?
I hope so.
No.
This is not happy either.
No. In fact, this next story is
It's gonna
y'all are
kick you
killing
off
me.
too.
You know that.
yeah. This next story
me.
is somewhat depressing or somewhat, it may tick you off too, like Larry said. Gmail is entering the Gemini era, and why is that not fun?
Well, it sounds fun, but let me say some things that kind of quantify all of this. There are over 3 billion Gmail users on the face of this earth. I'm one of them.
And that's a third of the population. That's a third of the entire human race population.
That's a third of the adults over 18. But I mean, that's a lot of people.
Well, 3 billion people. I mean, when the planet's probably got somewhere between 7 to 9 billion.
It's got 8 billion adults.
Almost half.
Yeah,
almost half the entire population of the planet.
So let me a couple of little tidbits here. So emails changed. We know that since Gmail first launched in 2004.
Right.
As much as technology keeps trying to tell us we don't really need email, why is email volume at an all-time high? Even if you discount the spam, managing your inbox, the flow of all that information has become an important part of all of our lives. We do this every day. We can't get out of it. So, the Google is now saying, much like the government, we're here to help. We're going to bring you Gmail in the new Gemini era, and we're going to make it your personal, proactive inbox assistant. So let me quickly tell you some of the things they're going to do, but don't think for a minute that this is about helping you or me. This is about money. This is about Google pulling you deeper into their ecosystem, making you dependent on what they offer, so you'll use it, they'll reap the benefits of advertising, and we're all okay with this. We do it, and we're okay with it. I'm one of them. We all do it. So one of the things they're bringing us as a helpful tool is AI overviews. So what Google thinks you want to see in advance about what's in your inbox, that's what it's going to be. Thank you, Google, but I can do this myself.
Didn't Outlook try this and it was really horrifying?
Oh, it was bad.
Well, even to some degree, Apple Mail tries to do it, but they confine it. They confine it a little bit. The next thing they're going to give you free, Help Me Write. Now, we already have a Help Me Write with Google, a Gmail, but this is going to be much, much better. The foundation for this upgraded feature has been around for probably 5-6 years. I'm a fan of it. It really works. But now it's going to get better. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're sorry, but you can't choose to use only this. You have to accept all of our AI features. Oh, you can't use any of them. We're sorry. That's Google. They are the masters at this. We're going to make you turn on all the new features because that's what we want you to do. You can't pick and choose. The
So
next
let me-
thing, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question,
Yeah,
a broader question here. So there's 3 billion Gmail users, but we don't all use the Gmail app or even the web to get to it. We may use a third-party
that's
client.
true. That
So
is
who
very
does this
true.
really impact or not impact? Is it only
Only
Gmail app
only the
users?
people who use the AI, the UI of Gmail. That's all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is
And
that
you're
web?
right.
Is that web?
That takes a lot of those numbers down. I know.
Is that web and the app,
No,
or is it just?
well, we don't know about the app, but well, yeah, no, the
No,
app's
no, no,
got
no. This is
the
gonna
app's
this is
got
gonna
it
the
too.
web
filter through to
too.
the app. Because
Yeah,
their
Help Me
app is
Write's
really,
in my app as well.
But
Absolutely.
will this do this in the web as well, or will this only do this in the web if you're
Yes.
using Chrome?
Web
Yes,
and
I got a
app.
Gemini
No.
icon in Gmail in the web.
Right.
But
No,
but
this
is it
is-
only if you're using Chrome,
No.
or is it using any
No,
browser?
any
No,
browser.
any
Yeah,
browser.
any browser. It's built
Okay.
into the service.
So
and you can turn it off.
the last thing that they're going to give us as a new fun feature is see what matters most in your new AI inbox. Well, that's nice, but how the hell do you know which of the 200 new emails I got this morning that I really care about? You don't,
Right.
Google. I'm sorry, you don't know. But yet I still have to accept this.
you're gonna take a stab at it, but 9 times out of
Well-
10, you're gonna be wrong. And guess
Right.
what? I don't
But-
care. I don't care necessarily to tell you that you are wrong. So that
And,
you're
But I
and
use-
Google,
I just use a
Google,
different
Google is saying, they're saying your inbox, Chris and Joel, your inbox is filled with updates and stuff like that. And we're going to help you focus on the clutter. But what if those updates that you think, Google, are unimportant are actually important?
And what happens till one of your advertisers says, "Hey, promote our spam mail over somebody else's"?
Right.
What happens till that happens? Because
Well,
basically,
okay.
we're not paying for the product,
okay.
right?
So that'll be at the top of the list in your spam folder in Gmail.
just like my freaking Google searches are.
Yeah.
They're promoted
Yeah.
ones end up at the top of my searches. I don't want that.
Well, get ready for them because these things are starting to roll out already in the U.S.
Yeah.
They're going to start with just the personal Gmail, not with Google Workspace. Personal first.
Okay, but I don't use the web to get to Gmail, and I don't
You'll
use
be
the
fine. You'll be
Gmail app.
fine.
So I
You'll
will
be
never
fine.
see this.
You'll
For
never
now,
be
anyway.
hindered.
So I won't see it for now.
No,
So
you
that's
won't.
the answer, folks. If you don't want it, use a different app.
That's
And
it.
that's-
Try the new Gmail today.
Feeling the
so-
love, Larry. Feeling the love.
So Google is adding things to Gmail and what they're calling the Gemini era. But when you move new shit in, you're gonna move some stuff out. And what's interesting is that
And you're
they
still
are
moving
all,
shit. That's at the
well,
end of the
they're-
day. You're
yeah,
still moving shit.
it's still
There
a
you
bowel
go.
movement.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mhm.
They're moving some older stuff out. All right.
Oh, are they now?
Well, the whole
Top
idea
3.
here is that starting this month, they're dropping 2 specific features. All right. They're dropping support for Gmailify and the ability to fetch mails from third-party accounts into your Gmail account using POP. Now, IMAP is still supported, so they're still going to do that, but it's IMAP only. They're dropping POP.
Mhm.
All right. They're not dropping POP support completely. It's just POP support for this one particular feature called Gmailify, right? This does not impact the Gmail app on Android, iOS, or iPadOS because those variants use IMAP connectivity. All right. So you're not going to see any kind of a deprecation of features on any of those apps for
Interesting.
non-Gmail accounts. But affected platforms, yeah, you're going to get the check mail from other accounts option will go completely away.
So again, this is
Mm-hmm.
basically if you're using the actual Gmail app or the web
Right.
to integrate
Right.
your third-party accounts into your Gmail itself. If Gmail is your focus driver, you're going to lose these features. Got it.
Well,
I actually use that more than anything. I really do.
right.
But-
So
I just use a third-party mail app and say, here's a couple of IMAP accounts I want you to look at. To me,
right.
it's much cleaner.
It's true. I just happen to like the UI. And
That's what it's
I
about,
will
Larry.
pay for it, I guess.
And they're gonna suck you in further. That's what they do. And I get it.
Or
I
I'll
get
find
it.
a whole new solution, one of the
Or
two.
you'll find another solution. You, Larry, I can't imagine
You
that.
know I will.
I know you will.
So there you go. So it's all fun, folks, until somebody
My
puts an eye
goodness.
out. So there you go. But yeah. Um, so Google giveth and Google taketh away. So, but you know who else is giving?
Who's giving?
Motorola. Because
And what are they
apparently,
giving us?
well,
Working on the
apparently
fold.
they're going to go ahead and give us the Razor Fold. So, Joel, what is
Hmm.
happening here?
So they are going to introduce Motorola's first book style foldable is coming. Easy for me to read.
Yeah.
The image confirms the Razor Fold, so I can't think of anything I care about less, to be honest.
Well, you're not a foldable phone fan, unfortunately.
Not
but,
yet.
you
Not
know,
yet. I mean, when like I saw a story that says, "Oh, Samsung has the creaseless fold phone." I'm like, I'll believe it when I don't see it.
yeah,
That is the
the
crease.
crease. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and,
So
and I've heard mixed answers already about this device
yeah.
as to what the specs look like, what the screens look like.
Right.
I have no idea what we're talking about here. Historically, to me, when Motorola's release new devices, they tend to be mid-market. They don't tend to be,
Yes.
premium
Which is
anything.
both good and
So,
bad. Which is both good and bad.
but that tells me I'm probably not going to have a folding device here that doesn't show me a crease, for example.
True.
That isn't going to be the case.
That's
Number
true,
one.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And
the performance of this isn't probably going to be
Gotta have last gen
flagship.
CPU.
It's not going to be a flagship status phone, right?
Right.
So you're not going to have
probably
those great flagship level performance features. You're probably
Yeah.
gonna get something that is probably mid range or just south of flagship level, high end, but not flagship level, right?
Right.
And this is their first entry into the foldable into the
Yeah.
book style foldable. They've had the
They've heard they had the flip styles for years.
yeah.
Mhm.
They've had that Razor Flip for a while, and it's been popular,
It has.
somewhat popular. Being on the same level probably as the Samsung Flip, it is at least in
And it's
terms
officially
of
official now.
right,
It
but
is.
this new one,
Yeah.
the
It is.
Motorola Razor Fold is official now, so.
Mhm.
But it's got new AI features. It's got a new camera system. So it eh,
Okay.
but it's something new, right?
Uh,
It's something new,
And it's all
Sure.
black and blue.
right?
Woohoo. Did it say what? Let me see if it says what. It says register now. But I'm trying to see if it tells me what.
Did it say when
5%.
we're supposed?
5% off.
Okay. Did it say when we're supposed to get it?
The image states the phone is coming later this year and that it will offer brilliant displays, intelligent AI, and an advanced boundary breaking camera system. The latest bullet point says that more details will be revealed in the coming months.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah.
All right.
The announcement is there. It's not quite real yet, but it's coming, and they haven't really told you what the specs are yet. So
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I would expect Snapdragon. What is the current one? The 9, maybe the 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite that far. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that they're
We'll
quite
see.
that far now. They are saying that the Motorola Signature, which is an uber thin Android phone with a brand new 4-lens camera system, was introduced on the 6th and the 7th of January, right? Depending on your time zone.
Right.
So it's possible that, like Samsung or Apple, they're using the Signature, which is this super thin thing, to be maybe half a panel, if you will, or at least be a proof of concept for the thinness of the overall thinness of this particular model. Who knows? All right.
I guess we'll see, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh. So anyway, we'll.
It is on their website now, though. They're in their opening gallery, so they're showing it.
There was a day that they made some of the best phones we ever had.
Yeah.
Motorola. Oh, absolutely.
What I found typically was that they were well made and well designed, but they were never performance rating kind of things. They always are slightly slower. That was where they made their compromise.
They were workhorses, though. I mean,
but they were workhorses,
right?
And I had a lot of the original, non-smartphone razors. I had a couple of those. I would just wear them out. I'd use them until they wore out.
That StarTech on the road, just sling it out there. It wouldn't care. It just kept
it made the battery may pop off of that on that StarTech, but you pick it up, dust it off, give it a blow, and put it back together, and it ran.
Yep.
Anyway, so we'll have to wait and see how things go, but
we'll see when it comes out. It'll be interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move us to our Windows segment, but I'm going to do that right after this brief message. Hi. This is Christopher Spera from iTechGear.org. I wanted to talk with you today about becoming a contributing donor to the site. iTechGear.org has been around for almost 15 years. In fact, our anniversary is just around the corner on January 10th, 2025. 15 years. Where has the time gone? I've never really asked for any kind of donations for the site. It's always been about me providing value to you, a site visitor or podcast listener. The iTechGear Weekly is now in its 4th year of production, and Chris G, Joel, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin and I are having a really great time providing you with some of the best free tech talk available from time-tested original internet writers, testers, site founders, and professional writers and editors on the internet. I truly believe that our crew has some of the best and most qualified pundits and commentators on the internet today. And we're not hobbled by any kind of sponsorship or affiliated relationship or other time-bought posts. It all comes from the heart. Unfortunately, times are kind of tough. And since the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 to 2023, yes, almost 3 full years, times have become increasingly difficult for small independent sites like iTechGear.org to stay afloat. I normally do this with a portion of the salary I make from the day job. But with the IT market so tight right now, it's really difficult sometimes for many to make normal household ends meet, let alone fund a site like iTechGear that might decide to bring in a buck or two. It ain't easy. If you find any of our content on iTechGear or from ITGW to be of any value at all, I would seriously appreciate you donating as little as just $1 to the cause. While we do have a Patreon site, it's hard to keep one website up, let alone 2. And since it's really only me doing the work, our Patreon site hasn't really helped us at all. If you can make a donation to the site or to the show of any amount, I'd be forever grateful. All donations will go to site maintenance, hosting, podcast hosting, and everything iTechGear related. Donations can be made to my PayPal account at chris@itechgear.org. Make a donation. We'll thank you immediately on the next ITGW episode and voice our gratitude. I want to thank you. We appreciate your consideration, time, and attention. Now let's get back to the latest iTechGear Weekly episode. And welcome back to the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 159, Trust But Verify. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move us into our Windows segment, and this next story is I don't want to say it's a refutation or it's a recant of a recent story, but there was a rumor like last week or the week before that said that Microsoft was going to lay off up to 22,000 folks. They were going to eliminate up to 22,000 different roles starting this month. And Microsoft is saying, nope, 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 nope. That is not true. We are not eliminating up to 22,000 roles this month.
Should point out this
This month.
this did not
Mhm.
that quote unquote rumor didn't come out of a tech magazine. It actually came out of an HR magazine.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And how
it
long
came
did
out of
it
the
take?
industry.
How long did it take Microsoft to come in and say it's just a hoax? There was a big
Took
gap.
him about a week. Took him about a week.
Whole week.
All right. The interesting thing is, and this is a quote from the article that we're citing from Windows Central. Um, it says, I'm happy to report that Microsoft is not preparing for a massive wave of layoffs this month. When we first shared the news, we explained that there were rumors and anonymous forum posts suggested layoffs were likely. Our executive editor, Jez Corden, specified that the rumors were false on the Xbox side, at least in his ex post. Frank Shaw, the chief communications officer at Microsoft, responded to a post about the rumors, stating that they were, quote unquote, 100% made up / speculative / wrong. His comment was made in reply to Corden's X post about the Xbox related layoffs, but Shaw's comment appears to be about the layoff rumors in general. And they have updated the titles and strap lines in the particular piece that we're citing so that people scanning the front page and social media see the most recent information. The original story appears below for context. Now, Chris, you were talking
So there's
about something specific related to
some
this.
specifics here. So first of all, the original references last week didn't say there was absolutely layoffs coming. What they said was there was a high likelihood of layoffs, and they were citing about 22,000 layoffs, and they were saying what departments and areas they might be in.
Right.
This recant, if you will, doesn't specifically say there'll be no layoffs. All they say is there are no layoffs this month.
Right.
And
that's the first sentence. That's the first sentence in the statement.
I found it interesting that they felt it necessary to tag on the phrase this month.
Yes, that prepositional phrase.
Maybe I'm reading too far into it, and we all say what we say. It's hard to say it sometimes, but that strikes me as oddly specific.
So your job is safe for today.
Yeah, but I mean that's true anyway.
Pause in there.
Right.
Yeah,
that's for Sunday night,
anywhere,
January 11th at 9:35, 9:36 Eastern time. If you work for Microsoft, you're cool, right? But that doesn't mean that come February 1, you aren't going to be standing on the side of the road with a cardboard sign that says we'll code AI for food,
Yeah, to be fair, this could be true in any company anytime. Now, the original story probably came up because somebody got a hold of some internal memo somewhere. Now, whether that was a true thing or somebody speculating, you don't know what that source was.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago.
1 week, 2 week, maybe.
But that's, the longer it is, the worse it is for their reputation, I think.
But
I would agree.
It just seems to me that I don't have a lot of confidence that they aren't going to do anything because they just got done doing a bunch of stuff. They let off 15,000 people last year, something like that.
13, I think it was.
It was a lot over the course of the year.
There may have been a few
total.
more, but the first downstroke I think was 13,000.
So the point I'm getting at is, and I don't recall them being very open about it before they did it either. So I'm not entirely convinced that they aren't going to do it. And they're a company that's investing heavily in AI. Maybe they think that AI is the way to go, and we're going to let people go. Who knows? Eating their own dog food, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I get it. They're saying it didn't happen. That it's not right. It's not true. It didn't come out of nowhere. This it came out of somewhere, and one has to wonder, okay, what does it really mean? Maybe the numbers are wrong. Maybe the timing is wrong, and maybe it won't happen at all. Maybe they'll have changed their minds. I don't know, but I just find it all very fascinating that the rebuttal was very, very,
Very
specific,
specific.
a little too specific.
Yes.
That's what concerns me.
Right.
But
Right. And again,
we'll
quote,
see.
I'm happy to report that Microsoft is not preparing for a massive wave of layoffs this month.
This month.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes me question. But again, we won't know until it really happens or doesn't happen, as the case
Right.
may be.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see something in the coming months that
I
isn't
know,
this
I know
month.
that everybody
But
huge out of Silicon Valley, whether that's Meta or
yeah,
Apple
yeah,
or Microsoft or what, even though Microsoft is obviously in Redmond, Washington, and not in Silicon Valley, but they're still a quote unquote Silicon Valley styled company.
this whole
Um,
tech, yeah,
all
yeah,
right, it's all tech. A lot of them are going through um, layoffs simply because they want to take advantage of AI, and we'll get into some of this in the next story. Um, but it's everybody's planning layoffs because of the
it
implementation
seems
of
like
AI.
it. Yeah,
Everybody is. And that, my friends, is not just limited to those big tech companies out of Silicon Valley or somewhere on the West
sure.
Coast. That's everybody, right? Everybody's wanting to, they've invested, gajillions in AI and they want to get their money back out of it,
And a
so
lot of them are not getting their money back out of it,
no,
which may mean
no.
we see a bust this year on the whole AI industry. It's hard to
And
know.
Could be.
I'm hoping that we do, because that would trigger
Yeah,
a huge rehire, and create what I'm going to say is a seller's market, which we haven't seen really since 2018, 2019,
true.
here in the States at least. But I would love to see that happen in 26, or
Well,
start
here we go.
sometime in 26. But that's just me, God forbid.
But there's more about this AI stuff, isn't
There is
there?
more about this, and Microsoft has made a huge announcement that they're adding Copilot to File Manager of all things.
Because apparently they think we need it.
Because
Oh, they know
apparently
we
we
need.
need trouble sorting through. We're having trouble sorting through our files, and we need help looking for the file. You know, um,
Uh-huh.
I yeah.
I
So
get Copilot, I get the Copilot key, but damn, leave the File Explorer alone.
Well,
I
technically, Microsoft has already added Copilot to File
Yeah.
Manager. I mean, it's in the right,
sort of,
it's in the
yeah.
context menu, right? It's
Hmm.
in the context menu. All right.
Well,
But it's not what anybody would really call a full-fledged integration, right? I mean, if you right click on any file and you click the Ask Copilot button, right? You're going to be able to go ahead then and use Copilot or AI to inquire about that file or other files like it, right? Um,
Yeah.
unfortunately, though, if
I don't
you
see the value here. I don't see
no,
it.
I
They
don't. And
I would
what
rather they fix the performance problems with File Manager before
and
they
this is
start
exactly
doing
where
this
I was
crap.
going to go. This is exactly where I was going to go. The
Yeah,
indexing
gotcha.
service on Windows 11, which is most normally taken advantage of in File Manager.
File Manager,
All
yeah.
right. The Windows indexing service runs in the background, and depending on the specs on your computer, you can see a huge performance hit on what your computer does or is able to do while this service is running in the background in indexing all
Well,
your
yeah.
files. All
And
right.
if you compare to how it ran under Windows 10 and how it runs under Windows 11, you will see a huge difference in
You will.
performance.
You will, and it's not a good
Negative.
difference. And
It's
it's
a
not a
negative
good
performance, yeah.
difference. All right.
So now we're going to add Copilot, like that's going to help us somehow.
It's not. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make things better. It's not. I mean, Copilot on top of this is going to actually, absolutely, positively drag the performance of your PC down to the point where it's. I mean, I've got PCs that will just freeze. because the indexing service is running. All right.
I've been there.
And it's absolutely horrible. And depending on what drive it's running on, if you've got a great example, if you've got a micro SD card or an SD card that is not V30 or faster, all right, you're going to see a huge hit. And even on a V30 based SD or micro SD card, you're going to see a performance hit. You're going to see your PC stop and study. You're going to see video take a hit. You're going to see productivity take a hit in terms of displaying results or being able to move through a document, etc. You're going to see a performance hit with that index servicing running. So it's with Copilot running as well. God knows what's going to happen. But they want to be able to load Copilot inside of File Explorer, and that's what's going to happen in Windows 11 build 26.220.7523. There's an invisible button next to the Details pane, and the button lightly triggers the Copilot pane. All right, and so this is going to actually run inside of File Explorer, allowing you to chat with File Explorer either about that file or about the files in that folder.
So do you envision this as maybe something like, so you just clicked on a file, you just downloaded an exe. So
Yeah.
you could say, hey, Copilot, launch that file or run setup.exe.
Or could you please tell me, is this actually a secure file? Does this contain a real Microsoft signature? Is this a real Microsoft product? Is this something that I can trust? And even though the website says, "Oh yeah, we're all downloading from a trustable source, and here's the hash, the hash on it, so you can check the SH5 on it to make certain that it's all cool and kosher." You ask Copilot that, and it may come back with something that says yes or no. Something like that. Or could you talk to me about the files in this, and what do they interact with, or how can I use this, and blah 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 blah. But yes, open Copilot. You should be able to get it to open things and launch things, and yeah.
Well,
so
if they keep trying, they'll figure out some good reason for Copilot. Maybe.
No.
No.
Maybe.
No, but God bless those folks that actually give us the ability to go ahead and get rid of it. totally deprecate it out of your Windows installation.
Thank you, Google.
But folks, that's the Windows segment for this week. Not as much as the other two, but I would say equally as concerning. I'm going to move us.
There we go.
I'm going to move us to our tip of the week segment. But again, before we get to the actual tip this week, I want to remind everybody that, iTechGear was founded 16 years ago yesterday. It was founded with the intent of making technology easy for everyone to use and understand. And this team specifically has dedicated their writing careers to that specific purpose. So every week we're on the iTechGear Weekly. We're going to feature a new computing tip authored by one of our experienced editors. And if you've got questions, requests, suggestions, or dare I say ideas, go ahead and send those things over to tips@itechgear.org. And if we use your question, request, suggestion, or idea on the air, we're going to go ahead and give you the credit for it and give you your 15 seconds worth of fame. But this particular tip for this week, again, authored by Larry, and it is called Close Unused Programs and Tabs, especially important since we've been talking about performance-based hits by other things that are being added into the operating system. If you've got too many programs or browser tabs that are open on your PC or even your computer in general, it can slow down your computer. It'll drain memory and make everything sluggish. Closing what you don't need, despite the fact that Chrome and other tools will go ahead and put tabs or whatnot to sleep and reduce the amount of memory, that's there, they're still going to take up some level of memory. And closing what you don't need frees up system resources so that your computer can focus on the stuff that you're actively working on. This is especially noticeable on older machines with limited RAM. Some browsers let you save groups of tabs for later so that you don't need to keep them open all at once. Task Manager on Windows or Activity Monitor on Mac can show you which programs are using the most resources, and closing those heavy hitters can speed things up instantly. Restarting your computer occasionally also helps refresh memory and close background processes. A tidy, efficient system doesn't just run faster, it also reduces crashes and your level of frustration and increases your level of productivity. Think of this as like decluttering your workspace, focusing on only what you need, and it makes everything more productive and enjoyable. And that's absolutely true. So there you go. So that's our tip of the week. If you ain't using it, shut it down, close it. Ain't looking at that tab right now, close it, get rid of it. Come back to it later. It'll be in your history. It'll be in your browser's history. Get rid of it. Close it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move us to our pick of the week segment. And again, before we get to that, I want to remind everybody that, our show picks are typically hardware, software, and other items of interest that we have individually purchased and we actually use, and we like enough that we want to recommend them to you, our growing listener base. These aren't paid advertisements or anything that we have any kind of affiliated marketing relationship with. If they were, the editorial policy over at iTechGear.org indicates that we need to let you guys know that up front. These are just sincerely things that we believe in, and we want to bring to you at the end of each show. Why, Larry?
Because we like you.
There you go. So, Larry, what is your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is something, if it interests you, you should probably go buy it right now because it's on about a 25% sale.
Okay.
And if you go buy it when you need it, which would be next Christmas, it won't be on sale, I promise you.
Awesome.
If you put lights on the outside of your house, you need this. You really, really do. I've worn out a couple. I didn't wear them out. They've upgraded this since the first one. So I bought two more of them. I have one for the front, one for the back of the house. Each one of them has two plugs. So that gives me four outlets. By Casa. It's a outdoor smart plug. Two sockets,
Got this
weatherproof for putting your outdoor. You can tell Siri or Google or Alexa or whoever you use, even LG smart things. You can tell them to tell these assistants to turn on this light, that light, the outdoor Christmas tree, the mailbox lights, whatever it is you have hooked up to it, and it will do it. And why I recommend this so much is I went through several of these from different companies. Most of them flat suck. They're horrible. They will not ever hook up with your Wi-Fi. I mean, with your home, be it Google or Apple HomeKit. They won't hook up properly. Anything by TP-Link for some reason just works. I use the old ones with Google. The newer version, they made it HomeKit compatible, so I bought the new ones. So I don't know. It's for $19. This is a lot of product. It's rugged, waterproof. And it's just so easy. I mean, it's cold in the winter. You don't want to be out there in the snow and the cold and turning
Plugging
lights.
crap in? No.
Yeah,
I have one criticism of this because I have the product too.
right.
The outlet, it's a right angle, all right,
Right.
and my waterproof outlet cover, I basically I had to go find something that will plug into that before I plug this in
Well, you
because
make a
it will not
wonderful
work.
point. But you know what? On the same service, Amazon, you can buy this little swivel gizmo that'll fit
Yes.
between that socket and this, and that's probably what you did. Works
Yeah, actually, I
perfectly.
got a little shorty. Actually, not a little shorty. I got a heavy duty shorty extension cord, which is only about yay long
Right.
and very thick, so that I don't have to worry about the.
Yeah, they wired my house upside down too, Joe. I don't know
Yep.
why.
So I mean, yeah, that's my only complaint about it. Otherwise, I literally have an automation set, which
Yeah, I
turns
did too.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, which turned this on every day. Although I just recently unplugged it because I was out there tearing them down today. So, but
And you can
because
manually turn either plug off, and they show up as two separate plugs in Google Home or Apple HomeKit. So
yep,
Yeah.
nice little
yep,
find. I
yep,
really enjoy them.
Yeah.
yep.
But I
Mine's up for my use case. Because of that right angle thing, it ends up working out because my little shorty has a outlet on it, more than one outlet on it. So like, unlike some animals, I do have an inflatable, and I leave it inflated during the day.
hmm
Because I don't like the flat inflatable laying on my yard.
But
No.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Even though they made the interior of the inflatable may be lit,
Right.
you aren't going to see that, during the day, obviously. But it's always fun to be able to at least see the inflatables during the day as opposed to just at
Yep.
night.
But the
So
lights all go on this, and I have lights in my tree, and I had all lights all over the place, and it
Yep.
was great to turn them off and on with.
right,
And I've tried other ones too. In fact, all of my lights, including my Christmas tree, I have the indoor version of it too. So like I literally can say, hey G, turn on Christmas, and it'll turn the outside and the inside in on
All
as
right.
well. So
but this particular one that Larry is citing here has got two individual. You can control. It's got two sockets on this
yes,
thing. They can be controlled individually.
Yep.
It's IP64 rated. All right, so dust and splashes of water from
I
any
kept
direction.
mine in the rain almost. It never
Yep.
bothered it a bit.
You know,
That's
but
a lot of splashes.
right, IP64 and fire retardant. All right. There is a manual control on this thing, so you'll be able to go ahead and see it. It's got voice control, so you can use Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant. There's no additional hub required. It's all built in, and you'll control it with the included app, and it is ETL rated
Yeah,
as well. So not bad, Larry.
not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. $19, and they've got ones that are Matter compatible as well. Those are a little bit more, a couple bucks more expensive at $22.
Right.
But for 19, not bad. Not bad. But that, kids, that's the show for this week. This has been the iTech Gear Weekly, episode number 159. Trust but verify. Recorded Sunday, January 11th, not November, but January 11th, 2026, live from iTech Gear Central. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, and for Mr. Chris Gavula, Brother Joe McLaughlin, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin, I want to say, hey, we will see you next time.